just a reminder, Life Inspired, it's just our monthly kind of free community class. We've been doing them virtually during the pandemic, which is awesome. It kind of works that we can get it out to more people. So today's class, I am just teaching a class. I'm calling it Pilates for a Happy Back. And really, class today, we're gonna, for the most part, do some traditional Pilates kind of mat sequence of exercises, but with some, maybe some bonuses. If you work with me, you know, I like to do some bonuses or some favorite things of mine that I like to add in that just keep my back happy. As I was thinking about class today, oh, before I talk too much, I want to tell everybody, if you're starting to watch this, I am going to use a few props for class today. I have a resistance band that I'm going to be using, and I'm using a small like fitness ball. If you don't have either of these, it's fine. You can do the stuff without it, or you can improvise. Instead of a ball, you can use a yoga brick. For most of the stuff we're doing with the ball, you could just roll up a towel, works well for it. And if you do not have a resistance band, my favorite substitute is just grab an old pair of leggings, like split the leggings and use it like a band, works really well. Okay, so as I was thinking about class today and like keeping our back healthy through Pilates, because I think so many people, I hear it from so many people that like their back feels better when they're doing Pilates on a regular basis. And I know keeping myself moving, I can vouch for that as well. But I was thinking like, what is it? Like, what are some key things that I would give some maybe a little advice on? And there was two things that really stood out to me as a movement teacher. Number one, I like to call it just keep moving. You know, I see so often when people don't feel good, when their back hurts, when something hurts, and they, instead of like modifying or trying to do what they can, they kind of quit moving altogether. And I can tell you that that's like never the best option. I mean, definitely don't force things, don't do things that hurt your body, but gentle movements to even when things aren't feeling good are gonna help. Because not only are they gonna hopefully kind of keep moving whatever is going on, keep your back moving, but also keep the rest of yourself moving. And then the other thing I just want to throw out there, it's my second thing, is listen to your body. It kind of goes hand in hand with number one. When we're moving, when we're doing exercises, this is whether you're trying to keep your back happy or all the time. Listen to your body and do what feels right for you. I'm going to be showing and teaching different exercises and variations, but clearly we're on a video screen. You're not in a room with me. If I was in the room with you and I could see you move, then it would be different. I could like see you and be like, hey, maybe try this or this. So you get to do that yourself. And I just like to encourage people to kind of trust yourself on that. You know, like if you're doing something and you're like, I feel like I need to bend my knee, bend your knee and see how it feels. You know, if you're paying attention and you're doing things slowly, you're not likely to do something that's going to injure you or hurt you, right? You know your body. So definitely listen to that throughout class today. Okay, we're going to get started. Hopefully everybody has all your props. I'm going to start with my ball. I am going to take my ball behind my back. And you can put your ball in your favorite spot. My favorite spot is kind of in between my shoulder blades. Oh, and as I get here, I forgot to mention, because I know I do have a few people taking class that have osteoporosis. We are going to do some things today that involve flexion and curling up. One of the things that is contradicted if you have osteoporosis. So if that's you and you know, definitely don't do those things. I'll try to give modifications as we go, but if I forget, you guys know. Okay, we're going to start with hands behind our head, and we're just going to take a nice big inhale and arch back over the ball. Hopefully that feels good. Now, when you come up, curl up and just bring yourself kind of a level to your body. Don't curl, don't crunch, don't bend at that broad line. Right, just we're coming from kind of that neutral place into that arch, and that is completely safe for you if you have osteoporosis. Right, For those of you that don't, and it's safe for you to curl, if you want to do that full range, then you can definitely come up and curl your back into the ball as you come up, so you can get a bigger range. So do your version. Let's just take a few more of those. So we're going to inhale, stretch back, and then exhale. Just time your breath with your movement as you come forward. One more there. And then you decide how far you're coming up. Now we're going to add just a little rotation to that. I want you to lean to your right. Go slow because it almost feels like you're going to tip off that ball. You're going to do a little twist or rotation. So this to me feels like the ball is going to spin into my back as I twist. And then I'm going to come up the other side. Now remember, you decide if you're coming to neutral, if you're curling up. And then we reverse it. You roll down that left side, go across so you feel that ball, give you a little massage, and then do either to neutral, or if it's safer, you can do that full curl. Let's do that like one more time on each side. You can roll back, do that little side bend, and curl to your place. And then we'll do that other side. And then come back up. Good. Okay. I'm going to come up off of my ball. We're going to lay back on our mat. Just take your ball for a moment if you have your ball and just put it in between your inner thighs. You don't have to overly squeeze it. We're just going to give our inner thighs a little bit of something to press into. We're going to just do a little warm up with our shoulders. So let yourself kind of just anchor to the mat for a minute. Roll your shoulders open, find those core muscles. Maybe just notice your head. Like, can you gently tip your head back into the mat and feel a little chin space, a little length in our neck. And then we're going to arm circle. And we're going to energize our arms. Lots of energy through our fingertips. We're going to take a big inhale and lift our arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, you're going to open and circle and bring your arms all the way back to those hips. Inhale as you lift the arms up overhead. And then those exhales as you come back around. Let's do two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, feel yourself squeeze out all of your breath as you come around. One more. Inhale, lift up. And then that exhale, squeezing out that breath. Let's pause here and go the other way. Palms up to the ceiling. You're going to take that big inhale, reach overhead, maybe even a little pause, hold your breath moment. Exhale as you squeeze out your breath and reach those arms along beside you. Inhale, we circle, fill up, little pause up overhead, and then exhale. Feel those abdominals pulling in. Feel yourself really squeeze, like as if someone was like squeezing around your waist to help you get rid of that breath. Inhale as the arms reach, and then that exhale as you press those arms long beside you. We're going to do one more where we stop halfway. We're going to inhale, circle. As you exhale, start to bring your arms down. Just stop when the arms get like right above your shoulders. Rotate your palms to face each other. We're going to do what I call puppet arms. I'm going to keep my arms straight and lift my shoulders up. My head feels like it tips back a little when I do this, just FYI. And then I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together behind me. I kind of feel like I'm lifting my chest, a little space in between, and just play with that a little bit. See if you can get that, lift your shoulders and then pull your shoulder blades. To me, I'm almost squeezing the mat behind me a little. Let's do one more. Lift, and then a little squeeze behind. And then just bring those arms beside you. We're going to take your ball, or you can do this with the yoga brick, or if you have a roller or a towel underneath our hips. Now you can also do it without the ball. So if you'd rather just leave your butt on the mat, that's fine too. I'm going to do a little bridge and lift my hips. And I'm going to pull my ball or whatever you have under my hips so that my hips are lifted. All right. And as you get there, just let yourself be there for a moment. Sometimes it takes a moment to maybe feel like you're getting all centered. Let your hips kind of release a little bit. Press those arms down into the mat. Good. Okay, let's start. We're just going to do a little stability work. We're going to do a little knee fold. As you inhale, you're going to pick your right leg up to tabletop. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring that leg down to the mat, and you're going to switch, and just notice the switch moments. You're trying not to overly wiggle those hips. Inhale, lift a leg up, And then that exhale as you float the leg back down. Now hands can press into the mat. Sometimes I do like, you'll see me kind of sneak my hands to like my belly basically, so that I can feel, like give myself a little feedback of like, can I keep pulling my stomach muscles in from my hand as I do these little marches, we'll call them, and back down. All right, if you can always keep with that, if you're ready to kind of make it a little more challenging, you can try one leg coming up, holding. I like an inhale first and then exhale to lift my other leg up in space. So just be there for a moment. This should feel like some core work just to hold here. Then I'm going to test out, can I lower one leg away from me, working level, and then bring it back up. Inhale the other leg, kind of test. You do not have to go all the way down. Most important is as you're doing these, don't arch your back, right? Feel like when you get to that place where you really want to arch or it's hard to not arch, that's kind of your working level place. And then we lower and come back. You can continue with these. If you want a super bonus challenge, you're going to squeeze both legs together and try to take both legs away. You'll notice, like when I do mine, I think I barely move my legs. Feels like maybe a quarter of an inch, but a ton of work because now we're taking both legs away from us. If that feels like too much, go back to one leg at a time. Right? Let's do one more, doing your version, and then bring those legs back. And then go ahead and just bring both feet down to the mat. Give your hips a little wiggle. We're going to play with a little tuck and arch in here. If this doesn't feel good for you up on top of whatever you're on, just come down and do this with your hips on the mat. Otherwise, you're going to play with, can I do my pelvic tuck where I lift my sitting bones and pull my abdominals in? I'm not trying to lift off the ball. I'm just tilting my hips. And then I'm going to tip my pelvis away. To me, this feels like I'm kind of letting go a little bit, letting myself be in this like traction kind of place, and just play with that a few times of how you can like use, if you're using your ball like me, push into it or whatever you're using, and then that tip away. And we're just trying to get that nice movement in our back, definitely using our muscles, right? And tip away. If that's feeling okay, we're going to try some circles on there. So we're going to do a little pelvic tuck first. Shift your weight to the right on your ball, tip your pubic bone away into your arch, shift your weight to your left, and then come back into your tuck. So 4 kind of points on there, tuck to the right, tip away to the left, back to your tuck. If this was a clock, right, we'd be going like 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, back to 12, if that helps your brain. But more than anything, circle your hips. And as you find it, you can make them a little more flowy and kind of play with it. And then after you've done what feels like enough, we're going to just switch directions and go the other way. Tip left, tip your pubic bone away, go to the right. Just that circling our hips around in space, exploring that movement in our body. Let's do like one more on those. And then we're just going to come back and let those hips relax there. All right, we're going to do one more thing with our hips lifted. This is our, I call it the psoas lengthener. I'm going to take my right leg first. I'm going to bend my leg to tabletop, straighten my leg. Wherever you can straighten it, flex your foot. And then I'm going to super slow start lowering my leg down. Now, as I lower, I want to think about those core muscles really kicking in, right? Pulling in and supporting my back, because I only want my leg to come down. I don't want my back to change as my leg is lowering. And the lower it gets, the harder it feels to go slow and to keep reaching through your leg. And you are just going to see how slow you can go until you finally reach what feels like forever away the floor. When you get there, you can slide your heel out a little more if you want, and then drag the leg in. We're going to do it again. We're going to bend it in, same leg, flex your foot and lower down. We're kind of on purpose wearing that leg out a little bit. Core muscles are pulling in. Maybe just check in, like, can you tip your head back and feel a little of that neck length as you're coming down? And then just envision that this time when our heel lands, it actually lands a little bit further away from us. If your heel had a little marker on it, it would make a dot a little bit further out this time. And then bend it back in. We're gonna do 2 more on this side because 4 seems to be my favorite number. I feel like we need at least 4 of these. As you lower, again, if that leg feels like it's working, it is, right? Top of leg, back of leg. Check in with your feet, flex your foot, really reach through that heel, and just slowly lower and kind of check in every once in a while with those abdominal muscles. Sometimes they need reminders. And then bring it back in. All right, let's get one more. Bend it in, reach it up to straight, flex your foot, spread your toes, and then start your descent down. We'll make this one super slow since it's our last one on this side anyway. Core muscles pulling in. We got our little check of our alignment, and we're just reaching. We're gonna make that last like third of the way down last a super long time. And then when you finally get down, stay there a little extra on this last one. Maybe you keep sliding your heel away, keep tightening those core muscles up and in, and then bring that leg back. I always like to give my hips a little wiggle. And then we're gonna switch and do the other side. So we're gonna do left leg, same thing, bend it in. Kick it up, flex at your ankle, open those toes, start lowering, start thinking about that length that happens through that whole left side of your body. And I like to kind of glue my shoulder back. It feels like I have a better anchor, and then reach, reach, reach. And with a ball, I always feels like I can slide a little bit more. If that makes sense, if you're using a ball. And of course, whenever you get there, maybe you pause a little moment, and then we'll just do it again. Bend it in, reach it to straight, open those toes as you're coming down. Oh, just that awareness as you're coming down, that checking in throughout your whole body. And how slow can we do? When you get to that last third, notice, is your butt working? Sometimes I have to remind my glutes that they can kind of help out a little bit on that bottom half, we'll call it, of the coming down too. But when I do, it gives me a little more stretch, a little more length in the front of my hip. Back, and we're gonna get our 2 more in. Bend it in, pick it up. And of course, we are doing these so slow. So you don't have to be exactly with me, but if you're doing like 2 to my 1, slow it down a little bit. See how slow you can go. So this particular exercise, for those of you that haven't done it, really great for lengthening and stretching a muscle called our psoas muscle, which is a hip flexor. Runs from our leg up to our spine, actually. Reach, reach, reach. All right, we got one more of these. And the beauty of this little movement we're doing is that we're strengthening it and lengthening it all at once as we come down. We're working the muscle eccentrically. So when you're done, it feels like it's all stretched out, but it also got strength work, which is a bonus because for most of us, that guy is weak and tight. All right, this is our last one. So whenever you get down to the bottom, you're reaching your heel away from you, you're hanging out there, stomach muscles pulling in, and then we're just gonna bend our legs to come back in. Now we are gonna come off of our ball or whatever you're using, pelvic tuck, lift your hips, and then just do a nice little bridge to roll all the way back down. Nice. All right, while we're here, just stick your ball back between the legs. We're going to do just some little progressive bridges. We're going to keep our arms pressed into the mat. And I want you to come back to that pelvic tuck we did on our ball, if you did it on the ball, and then release your hips. Just do like 2 of those for me, just your tilt. How much tilt and tuck can you get? To me, that always feels like I'm stretching that very low back, and then release the hips. And then now we're going to do little progressive bridges where I want you to tilt and tuck and then just lift just an inch in your mind, whatever that is, and then roll down. Feel your stomach muscles pull in and press your back into that mat to roll down. And then this time we're going up 2 inches. We're going to work our way to 5. So whatever 2 feels like for you. And then roll down. And don't overly worry about the ball right now. Just keep it there, right? The nice thing about having it there is like those inner thighs are working just to hold it there. We don't overly have to think about it curling up to 3 this time, midway up your back, and then pull your stomach muscles in, getting lots of movement in our back, all the while strengthening those core muscles. We're going to 4 on the next one. Arms pressing into the mat can help you feel like you get a little more shoulder opening, a little more lift. And then we're rolling back down and just releasing at the bottom. All right, we're doing one more. This is your 5. This is like your top bridge for the moment, right? We're still kind of getting all warmed up. That rolling to come back down and then release at the bottom. Awesome. Okay, let's go into our 100. We got to get it in. Always the 100 is your 100. So if you love to have your head down, you love to be in your upper ab curl, I want to show if you have a ball today, this can be a nice option. And sometimes you have to play with exactly like where you have the ball. But I do like mine, if I get my ball in there, I can be in a place, and again, you could have your legs down, you could have your legs up, at tabletop, extended, your favorite place. My favorite place for my back is to try to straighten my legs and flex my feet. So that's what I'm going to do today. But if you can see, like I have the ball here, I'm not actually lifting my head, but my body is in this curl. I can kind of feel, I call it the bra line, like curl right here, where, man, my core is working like crazy, but my head is actually resting back. So my neck feels fabulous. It's not doing much of anything. If that works for you, try it. If not, do your version. All right, let's do our 100. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Big full breaths. And again, if you're playing with my ball version, just notice like the ball's supporting you, but you're still working to be in that C curve, right? I'm still feeling like I'm doing a little pelvic tuck and lifting my sitting bones. I'm scooping my abdominals and trying to bend a little bit through that mid back, even though my head and neck are feeling kind of fabulous resting on the ball. Okay, inhaling for 5 and exhale. Remember, it's your working level legs, so they could be at tabletop, maybe you want one leg down, one leg up, right? Your version always. Let's shoot for 2 more breaths. Inhaling for 5 counts. Exhaling for 5. 1 more breath. As you finish, just give those legs a little hug in. And of course, if you had your ball underneath, you could take that out. We're going to do some roll down variations. I'm going to use my resistance band. Again, always roll downs, your variation. So what you need to do at home, maybe you need to anchor feet. I love the bear band for a little extra support. I'm going to do legs together, but you could definitely open them up a little if that feels better for you. And I'm going to choke quite a ways up on my band. So I'm going to start off with a little half roll down. I'm going to squeeze the inner thighs together, connect my shoulders, scoop my abdominals in, and just roll halfway. Now you might wonder, where is halfway? To me, halfway is like the hard place in the middle of my roll down. And then I'm going to come forward and just press the arms out. So I get a little bonus arm work right there. I'm going to roll back just halfway. And I want to start to feel my sacrum and my low back start to touch. And then I'm going to press and come forward. Now you could always just stick with that. Otherwise we'll head, if it's there for you, into your full roll down, where you're going to inhale halfway. And then you're going to keep pressing your back into the mat as you roll all the way down. And then we'll come back up, chin to chest, and feel our back peel off of that mat. When you come forward, bonus little press out with those arms. And then we'll do that again. Now, if it's there for you, you want to straighten your legs, go for it. Straighten those legs and just curl all the way back down. We want that mobility in our back as we roll up and down. We want that core work. And then that band gives us that opportunity to get a little bonus strengthening with our arms and shoulders as well as we roll to come all the way down. Let's do one more here. So wherever you're at, get one more kind of full one in, stretching up and over. And then we're going to roll down to our mat and stay back there. And I just want you to keep the band on your right foot only. We're going to do some stretches next and then head into a little one leg circle. So what we'll do is you choke up as much as you like. Take your leg and just pull it back towards you till it is a good stretch in the back of the leg. Now, you could decide with your left leg, you could leave it bent, kind of foot flat, you could have it part way out, or you could have it all the way straight. Okay, see which one feels best for you and just let yourself be there for a little bit. So many times our back gets cranky when those hamstrings, backs of legs get straight. So just extra stretching out the backs of the legs, super helpful. All right, let's inhale while we're here, point our foot, exhale, flex. Inhale, point, and exhale, flex. Good for our foot and ankle as well, which is always a bonus. Let's do some circles. Take like 3 circles. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll go that other way. 1, 2, and 3. Good. Okay, we're going to add a little movement into our stretch. We're going to point our foot and press down, maybe even tap our heel on the mat, and then flex our foot and reach for our heel. Just bring the leg up to the place where it's a stretch. So I have an itch on there. Point and reach on the way down. And then flex, reach for your heel to come back up. Let's do one more like that. Inhale, that point and reach. Core muscles active that whole time. Exhale, flex your foot to bring the leg up wherever you can have it. Now I want you to take the leg to the right. And how far you go is up to you. Maybe you're just going like a smidgen off to the right and bringing your leg back. Maybe it's okay for you to go all the way out and really feel a stretch in that inner thigh and then bring the leg back. You decide. Inhaling as you take the leg away from your center, stretching moment if that's there for you, and then exhale to come back up. A flexed foot is going to give you a little more stretch, but it's fine just to like softly point. That's better for you. And then come back. Now we're going to take the leg across our body. And I want you to keep your hip down. So you'll see that that is not a very big movement for me. If my hip is down, I go just a little bit and feel that nice big stretch in my outer leg. Let's do one more like that. A little reach across. And then come back. And I'm going to throw a couple more in. If you want to lift your hip on these, you can go to the place where your hip stays down. You can on purpose lift your hip. Try to keep your shoulders anchored, but let your spine twist if that feels good for you. And then when you come back, pull your hip back first, and then bring your leg. Let's do one more like that. And again, if it doesn't feel good, then just keep that right hip anchored instead of adding that twist. When you come back, pull your hip back first, and then bring that leg back. Okay, we're going to switch out and do that little series on the other side. So I just like to switch out my legs and my band. We're gonna feel that stretch. So remember, you decide where the other leg is. If it's bent, if it's partially bent, straight. Just find your stretch. Usually it takes a moment, kind of anchor that hip into place and just be there. And then as you find it, you can start inhaling to point your foot, exhaling to flex, just exploring what happens through that point and flex. I don't know about anybody else, but that flex moment, pull the toes back, always gives me kind of a much bigger stretch up the back of my leg in a good way. Point and flex. Do your circles. Take like 3 circles. You're just moving your band around in space. And then go the other way. Good. Okay, we're going to add a little movement to our stretch. We're going to point our foot and lower the leg down. And then we're going to flex our foot and reach to our heel to come back up. Inhale, we're going to point and reach on the way down. And then exhale, flex, reach through that heel, just to where it's a good stretch for you. One more time. Inhale, we're pressing out into that band, keeping our core muscles engaged. Exhale, to come back up. All right, next up, we're going to the left. We're going to take that leg out to the left side. Try to keep your hips anchored. Don't like overly roll your hips. And then bring the leg back over your hip. Remember, it's your range. You might not go as far as me. You might go way farther than me. That's okay, as long as it feels okay. Kind of trust yourself on that. Inhale as that leg reaches out. And then a nice big exhale to come up. Let's pause and go across our body next, trying to keep our hip down. So just test that range. Where can you get that is a good stretch? Take the leg across your midline, maybe hold it for just a little moment or so, and then bring it back. Okay. Let's do one more like that one. And then we'll add a couple where if you want to lift that hip, you could lift your hip. So you could go as far as you can with your hip down, and then you can kind of pick your hip up and reach. When you come back, feel your hip roll back to that mat first, and then bring your leg. And just notice your breath. Inhaling as you reach into it, your range. Exhale as you bring that hip, and then that leg comes back. Awesome, guys. Okay, let's switch out. We're going back to the right foot. We're going to do a little bit of our one leg circle exercise. Options on this. We're going to try to have that right leg nice and straight. Left leg can be bent but flat. It can be a little bit straighter, maybe your heel pressing in and the foot flex, or you can go all the way out to a straight leg. You're going to do your version. We're going to work on hip stability today. Keep our hips stable and circle our leg. So how big you go is your range. You're going to inhale across the body. Exhale as you circle around. With your breath, try to inhale for about a third of your circle. Exhale for the rest of the circle. Squeeze out that breath. Stop over your head. You decide how big the circle is so that you're staying relatively still with those hips. You're feeling those core muscles kick in as you kind of stir that leg around in your hip. And remember that bent leg is a nice option on there. Reach and circle. Whenever you get over your hip, pause and then reverse it. Go to the outside of your body and then circle the leg down and around. Inhaling for part of it and then exhaling as you circle. All right, see if you can get that big inhale for about a third of your circle. And then exhale for 2/3. And then go right into that next breath and circle the leg around. We have one more there. Inhale. And then that exhale to circle. Awesome. All right, guys, we got to switch and do our other leg. So left foot in there. We're still holding our band. You decide where you want your right leg. If you want it bent, partially bent, or all the way out. We're going to go across our midline. Reach, circle the leg to come around. If we're trying to keep our hips stable, we want to focus not just on the moving leg, but also on I call it our standing leg, the one not moving, right? It has to push down into the mat. The muscles on that leg have to work to help keep our back and our hips still as that other leg does the fun circle around in space. Let's get one more. Remember, we're inhaling for about a third and then exhaling all through the rest of it. Pause, let's reverse. Inhale to the outside of the body, exhaling for that second third. Inhale for that first third, and then exhale to come around. Nice flow of the breath that just kind of has that rhythm as we move. Inhale to start, exhaling. No right or wrong on how big your circles are. They can be teeny, they can be big. Trust what feels good for you. All right, let's come up to sing. You can take your foot out of your band, maybe grab a leg and roll yourself up. We're going to throw in a little bit of rolling like a ball, which is contradicted if you have osteoporosis. So a nice option might be just to stay at the top and do some little rocks at the top. So this is your rolling like a ball. Feet together, knees apart with your hands behind your legs or hands on your shin. If you're not rocking, you can play with more of a flat back and just do these little mini rocks up top. If you're doing your full roll, you're going to lift your sitting bones and rock back and then rock forward. right? Play with that big breath that helps us get that massaging of our back into the mat. And again, it's your version. Is it okay to kick your legs? Yeah, definitely, right? As long as you're not throwing yourself back, a little bit of that kick of your leg up, if that helps you roll into the mat, is totally fine. Let's do one more on those. And then coming back up. Awesome. Okay, we are going to come back to our ball. We are going to do a little stomach series, but one of my favorite kind of variations, we're going to do it with our ball under our hips, or something else works under your hips, a yoga brick or a roller. So lifting our hips up, we're going to come back to that place where we have a little ball or whatever you're using underneath your hips. And then we're going to take our legs up to our tabletop position. You'll definitely want to press your arms in. As a bonus, those arms and upper back muscles are going to get work to help you stabilize on here. One leg stretches first. Our core is tight. As you inhale, you're going to press one leg out as the other knee pulls towards you, and then you're going to switch. Time your breath. Let's inhale on one and exhale on the other. How low you go is working level. Notice the lower you go, the more work it is to keep your back stable and not want to arch it. And switch. Let's do one more on each. Inhale and exhale. We're going to bend both legs in. Our double leg stretch today, we're going to do kind of as a frog. Heels together, toes apart. See if you can keep your heels glued together. As you inhale, send your legs out wherever you can straighten them and not arch your back, right? So you'll notice mine's pretty darn high, right? You can go right up over your hips. You can play with taking it just a little bit lower. Find your challenge place. Doesn't have to be super low to be a ton of work. Big inhale to press out. Exhale to come back. And we got one more. And our arms, and my arms are working. Hopefully you guys are too. And then come back in. Okay. Moment in the middle. This is my favorite. Let's take a little, I call it a child's pose stretch. Just give yourself a little moment there. I like to open the knees and just kind of let my hips roll a little side to side or just be there. It's one of my favorites. Okay, and then we're heading back to our stomach series. Okay, we're gonna go to our scissors. We're gonna stretch our legs up to the ceiling, working level how big those scissor kicks are. Inhale, we're gonna reach, we switch, reach. Right, remember your goal is that stability. We're strengthening those core muscles as we do those scissor kicks. You're also probably getting some nice stretches through your legs and hips. Let's do one more on each. Scissor. Both legs are going to meet up top. We're going to throw in some helicopter. See if you can flex your feet. This is my favorite version. So we get a bonus stretch. We're going to scissor, and then we're going to open the legs opposite of each other, like you're tracing out a circle. And then we do it again. Scissor, open and circle. Notice those arms really having to press in. Scissor. I probably don't have to tell you that, but I was noticing mine, so I'm going to remind you guys. Scissor, open and circle. Let's get one more. Scissor, open and circle. Okay, we're going to sneak some bicycles in while we're here. We're going to start cycling our legs in space. We're thinking of our core muscles pulled in, our arms are pressing into the mat. The bigger you go on these, the more work to stabilize your back it will be. Definitely take them at your working level. Go ahead and reverse, back pedal. I always kind of like to start mine littler and then ease into my challenge place as I go on any given day. Right. Nice. Okay, one more time because I love it. Let's take that little child's pose, stretchy moment. Open the knees, pull in. Definitely do your version of that. Hopefully that feels good. And then as you're ready, let's bring our feet to the mat, lift our hips up, scoot our ball out, and then do a little roll down to the mat. Okay, we have one more in our stomach series. We are going to switch our ball and put this behind us. And then take our hands back behind our head for these. We got to add a little rotation in. So we're going to take our left leg up to tabletop, and we're going to do a stretch our leg out long and arch back over. And then as you exhale, you can curl up. Now remember, my osteoporosis people, you can come just to neutral or you can curl all the way in. Let's do 2 more of those. Inhale to arch back. Exhale, coming towards your leg, your kind of distance, and curl it back in. Now we're going to add our rotation. So you're going to arch back, and then you're going to go into a twist. Now you can keep that twist back here in a little more neutral, or you can curl and twist. Really depends on your body. And that curl and twist. Extend and curl and twist. Let's do 1 more of those. Inhale back. Exhale, curl and twist. And then we will switch and do it all on the other leg. All right, I have my right leg up. I'm going to extend the leg, arch over my ball, and then curl. Remember, go to your place. Inhale, extend, and exhale that curl. Support your head so you don't feel like you're straining through your neck on those, and curl. All right, next one, if you want to add that rotation, you're going to add it in. Extend, curl, and rotate. Inhale to reach back over your ball. Exhale, curl, and rotate. 1 more. And twist. And then bring those feet back down. Let's come up to seated. Let's use our ball. If this works for you, if it doesn't, just set your ball to the side, but we're gonna do a little spine stretch. So find your tall spine. So if you need to bend knees a little bit, or if you have something to sit on that helps you if your hamstrings are tight, that can be nice. I'm just gonna use my ball out in front of me to kind of press onto today. So pressing into the ball, I'm gonna just sit tall, take a nice big inhale. And then as I exhale, I'm gonna curl my spine forward and gently press on the ball as I wring out all my breath. 2nd, 3rd exhale in my bottom range. Inhale, I'm going to slowly pull my breath in as I float up and sit tall. Exhale, we're going to curl forward. For my osteoporosis people, you can do this as a flat back hinge. Exhale. Inhaling. As you roll up, and in fact, let's all do one as a flat back. Sometimes it feels really nice. So flat back and hinge. Now what you'll find, at least for me, I can't go quite as far, right? When I'm keeping my back flat and then coming back up, it's more of a hip hinge than a movement through my spine. But that's a nice option. Let's do 1 more. You decide what you want to do on that last one. If you want to do that traditional round forward, squeeze out that breath, or you want to play with that hip hinge. And then we'll stack and come all the way back up. Awesome. Okay, let's set this to the side. Let's get some extension work in. Let's turn over on our belly and do a little back bending. So this is our swan, and you are going to decide where you want your legs. They can be tight together. For many people, that feels tight already on your low back. So if that's you, just open your legs a little bit, open them a lot, find where it feels when you're starting that you have some ease in your low back. You don't want to already start feeling like that's super tight. Hands under shoulders, neck is long. We're steering in our mat. We have energy wherever your legs are. Energy. I'm going to go nice and open with mine today. Energy in those legs. As you inhale, start lifting your head, pull your shoulder blades together and down. And you're just rolling up. It's your back bend. There is no right or wrong on this. And then we kind of roll our front side down into the mat and hover over that mat. Inhaling as you're coming up. We want to bend through our neck. We want to bend through our upper back, middle back, and then maybe a little through that low back as well. And rolling back down. Try a few with those arms reaching beside you. Palms are facing in. As you come up, you're just reaching your fingertips so far away, it like lifts you up, and then roll yourself back down and hover. Inhale, and if you like one of these versions more than the other, you can definitely switch back to hands if you prefer that. Coming back, let's do 1 more. Inhale, we're gonna rise up, 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 lift, and then exhale to come back down. Let's play with our double leg kick today. We're gonna put our hands on our back, hover our face, hug the legs together, right? They're your hug together. Maybe that's all the way, maybe that's a little hip width. As you inhale, you're gonna take a big breath and then exhale for 3 kicks. And as you kick, I want you to try to lift your thighs off the mat, even though they probably will feel like they're not lifting. And then as you inhale, you're gonna lift your head and chest and lift your arms up. Now you can hold like I'm doing, you can let go and just lift, go with what feels best. Exhale to come back down and kick, kick, kick. Inhale as you rise up, arms lift, chest lifts. Exhale as you come back down and kick, kick, kick. Inhale, we rise up and lift, lift, lift. Exhale back down and kick, kick, kick. Last one, inhale, arms can be open. And then exhale back down. And then let's pop up onto all fours for a moment. And let's just take a little cat. I'm gonna call it our cat movement. We're gonna drop our head and see how much we can round our low back. Pull our low belly up and in. I like to really push through my arms and just feel, see if you can find that stretch in your back. Take a few breaths there. Some little variations while we're up in that. Maybe you just shift back ever so slightly, like just bring your thighs back a little bit, but keep that scoop, keep that curl. Sometimes it's nice to go back and forth a few times and just find your stretch there. And then come back. Okay, good. Oh, those always feel good. All right, we are gonna sneak in some side leg kicks. Oh, because side leg kick series, we might do some bent legs today, are so good for us, A. B, because keeping those glutes strong and those legs and hips is gonna support your back. I'm gonna set up, I'm gonna be propped on my elbow because it's kind of my happy place, but you can always lay down on your bottom arm if that feels better for you. You could have your arm in front of you and do something like have a ball underneath of you. Kind of make yourself comfortable, even though we are going to work, right? Okay, we're going to bring those legs to kind of that 90-degree angle at our hips and our knees. We're just going to do a little series here. Don't forget about your core work on these. They're helping us hold our body nice and upright. You decide where you want your hand. I kind of like mine. I'll probably end up putting it on my hip or down here in front of me, probably my hip. Let's inhale, lift the leg. Exhale, lower the leg. So as you're lifting and lowering, you're just keeping this leg stacked over top the bottom leg. I'm trying to keep a little energy in my feet, a little flex of my feet as I lift and lower. Lift and lower and lift and lower. Let's do one more of those. Lift and lower. Next up, we're going to do internal rotation, which, man, usually just feels hard, right? I'm turning my thigh and knee down. I'm going to try to lead with my heel. Lift and lower. And I have to look at my knee every once in a while or my thigh and just keep checking in on it because it doesn't like always want to be there. So I have to keep reminding it to turn in. That's an okay thing, right? Lift and lower. Let's get one more in. Lift and lower. Let's do a little clamshell. We're going to have our feet together. We're going to keep our hips stacked. If it helps you to grab that hip to know if they're stacked, definitely do it. Open and then squeeze back in. We're going to inhale, open, exhale to come back in. I love these little like end range movements where in my brain, I'm kind of like holding it and going a little further, even though it's not actually moving, and then squeezing in. Feels like a ton of work. Kind of time it with your breath. Let's do one more. Open, open, open. And then come back. And then we're going to throw in just a little bit of a sweep today. I want you to straighten that leg out and really stretch it long. Favorite spot for a hand, it could be on the mat, on that hip, or even behind your head. As you inhale, keep your upper body still as you flex, kick forward, and then point, reach back. Allow yourself lots of kind of lengthening and stretching through that back of the leg. And then how far can you reach behind you and feel a stretch in the front of the hip? Flex, kick. Point, reach. Let's get two more of those. Flex, kick, and point, reach. We have one last one. Flex, kick, and point, and reach. Oh, good. All right, let's flip over. Let's get that all on the other side. Stretch out. Remember your position for side legs. Kind of your setup. Try to get a little bit of that, just 90-degree or close to it at your knees and at your hips. Do something with those feet. If you love a point, that's okay. I kind of like a flex from helping me engage a little bit more. Let's lift and lower a parallel leg. All right, remember those hips are staying stacked and we're just doing our lift and lower and lift and lower and lift and lower lift, and lower. One more time, lift and lower. Okay, next up is that super fun internal rotation. Thigh and knee are turning down, and we are gonna lift and lower. We're still keeping those hips nice and stacked. Lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower. Remember that breath that we're always just coordinating, we're aware of. Lift and lower. Let's get one more. And then some clamshells. Our feet are together. We're gonna open up and squeeze back in. Feel free to do my little hold your end range and then come back in moment if you like that. I don't know if like is the right word. Like, it's like feels like I need it, maybe. And then come back in. Two more. Open and then squeeze. One more time. And back. All right, let's straighten that leg out. Really stretch long so you feel it even in your waist. You decide where you want your hand. We're sweeping, flex, kick, point, reach, flex, kick, and point, and reach. Inhale, feel that length in the back of the leg, and then stretch the front of the hip. Flex, kick, and point, reach. One last one, flex, kick, and point, and reach. Awesome. Okay, guys, we're gonna take a little figure four stretch moment. So we're gonna make it like a bonus figure four stretch moment. So I'm gonna start with my right leg. Of course, if you want to start the other way, that's fine. I'm gonna cross the ankle over my other knee. And I want us to first just get a stretch. So if having your foot down on the mat doesn't give you a stretch and you need to lift it up and pull it in to get a stretch, definitely do that. I'm pretty good down here on the floor finding mine, so I'm going to be there. Let's just take a few breaths and just make sure that you're getting a stretch in that hip. And again, this can be a nice variation of that. Just giving those muscles a little stretch time. Right, and then we are going to throw like a bonus. So we don't get all stretch time. I want us to play with a little bridging now that we're all warmed up in our body in this figure four position. Now, if this doesn't work for you, crossing your legs like this can be a nice option, or you can just bring the foot down to the mat. That's fine, but try it out if you want. We're going to press those arms in. You're going to do your pelvic tuck. You're going to lift your hips up and find your bridge, and then roll back down. So just like a normal bridge, we want all that articulation. And at the end, really tip away, which for me gives me that stretch. You might be flexible enough that maybe you're not feeling a huge stretch. That's okay. This is still really great strength work just to do your one leg bridge. Play with it a little bit in your body. I feel like we should do 3 of those. Let's do one more. Inhale as you roll up, up, up. Maybe you want to pause in your top movement. And then exhale to roll all the way down. And then we're going to switch. We're going to just take your stretch first. So play with this figure four stretch with your foot down. Sometimes I like this, like, I don't know, it's like a windshield wiper. You could lift the leg up. Remember, there's not a right or wrong on this kind of thing. Kind of trust what feels good. Allow yourself to play around a little bit and be like, oh yeah, there's a stretch. That's what I need. Just finding it and then allowing yourself to be there. Breathe into it. And then of course we're gonna do the one leg bridges there because they were fun. So same thing. And if it doesn't work for you, cross the leg, go back to both legs and just practice your bridge. Pelvic tuck, lift your hips, roll yourself up, and then roll back down. Try to feel that connect of your back into the mat. It's easy for me on these to want to just like pop up and not do the articulation. So I have to really make myself slow down a little bit and get that movement through my hips and just kind of focus on that mat, pressing into as much of my back as I can. Let's do one more. Rolling up. Those arms are pressing in. Of course, that one leg is working extra. And then that roll all the way back down. Good. Unwind from there. Give those legs a little rock, a little side to side. We're going to come up to seated and just end with a little mermaid today. Just kind of a regular mermaid. I'm going to cross my legs. I call it like the Z legs. If that doesn't work for you, adjust. You can have your legs like out in front, this kind of thing. You might even want to sit like this. Do your version. We're going to sit tall and extend the arms out. I'm going to tip over to the side, press my hand and my forearm into the mat, and then I'm going to reach up and over. Just take a giant inhale. As I exhale, I'm going to stack back up. I like to grab my ankle or leg as I reach up and over. And then I'm going to take the bonus twist. I'm going to put my hand on my head. I call it the bonus twist. Rotate into what feels like a good stretch. Untwist. And then stack back up. And then we'll do that again. So we'll take nice big inhale. They can be a little more flowy. Exhale to stack back up. Inhale as we reach up and over, hand on your head. Exhale, we can rotate in and twist. Feel free to hold any of those moments that just feel good for you. And then stack. All right, we're going to do one more little variation on this one. So this time when you go out, I want you to take your side bend and then explore coming all the way around, maybe even getting to your forearms on here. Things you can do. You could just be here. You could just like twist and let your head be on your hands. Sometimes that's just a really nice stretch. I sometimes will do, I call it the twisted swan, where I'm kind of here and I play with, can I do a little bit of this arch and come back? No right or wrong on that range. When you're doing it, they could be little, you can come all the way to the floor, just explore. And then when you're ready, untwist, stack back up, take that stretch up and over the other way, and then come back. And then let's switch and do the other side. So we're just gonna fold those legs or find your favorite spot there. Stretch your arms out, take a nice big inhale as you land your hand in your forearm and take that side bend action. Feel that breath into your side. And then exhale. Remember, the lighter you push with that bottom hand, the more your obliques have to work if you want that work. Reach up and over, bonus twist, hand on the head, rotate in. Unrotate when you're ready and stack up. And then we get to do it again. Let's do one more like that one. Nice big inhale. And then that exhale to stack back up. Inhale, we'll reach. Exhale, we wring out our breath and twist in. Inhale back and center. And then let's play with that twist this other direction. So stretch over into your side bend. Play with coming around maybe onto forearms. Maybe you want to come all the way down. Maybe you want to play with my little twisted swan that I like on here. See what it feels like for you. For me, I get a nice like glute stretch when I'm in this position. I think that's why I like it so much. Whenever you're ready to come out of it, you can untwist, stack back up, take a stretch up and over that other direction, and then stack to come back up. And then we are all done with the little Pilates happy back class. Thank you guys for joining me today.